All right, welcome to the Unnamed Cybersecurity podcast. I'm Chris. I'm here with Matt, and Bob is in an undisclosed location. Clearly, I mean, look at this. Look at that background. That background.
And I'm actually in my office. I don't think it's ever been seen on this podcast for years, which is
that's right. That's true. I don't think you ever have been.
It's rare.
Yeah, I've got the nondescript conference room look.
There you go. Yeah, and I'm in my boring like white wall with some posters up there, and then obviously Matt. Congratulations on the office. I guess nobody really realized you had one.
It's a real office. I just forget I have it sometimes. I'm here.
So I had an interesting day yesterday. I want to share this because I think this is a good way to start this. There was a cybersecurity event in my camera. So my camera keeps freezing or whatever. Anyway, cybersecurity event in my area. I got rejected to go there because I am technically a solutions provider, but I like to try to be in the cybersecurity community. So I'm like, okay, so I wrote them a nice letter and I got approved to go. However, 2 people on my team did not. A little upset about that, but yeah. Anyway, it was good. And then we get to the end of the conference, and they were talking about how we all have to work together and that we're not competitors when somebody's under cyber attack. And I agreed. And then I wanted to ask, and I didn't. Then why were people that wanted to be here to be part of this community rejected?
Oh no!
I think it's a good time for solutions providers to be educated on cybersecurity risks and threats.
So the idea was, I guess the people that paid for the event decided that they didn't want other solutions providers there, even though you were coming as an IT professional and they were offering CPEs. So, I have my CSSP. So I was there for that. I was trying to bring somebody that had Security Plus. They wanted to get their 10 CPEs. So I don't know. I feel like it's being disingenuous to the industry we're in when you do that at conferences. If you want to have like a waiver saying that you come there as a solution provider and you can't sell, I understand that 100%. Like, I'm not there to sell. I'm there to be an IT professional, view it, and be with my peers. So anyway, that kind of irritated me. But
maybe
what do you
learn
guys
something from your nice letter with what they said at the end now.
Maybe. We'll see. I just think it's disingenuous. So I wanted to share that because I think it's bad for the industry, and I think it's bad for events. I understand that when people pay for certain things, but you can put language in agreement when you show up, and you can be banned. Like, I'm okay with banning people if they come in there and they try to sell and when they're not supposed to.
Yeah,
like that. I understand that. So anyway,
it's my sandbox. You can't come in.
Yeah. Other news. So the Sault Ste. Marie tribe, it's like the Sioux tribe of Chippewa Indians here in Michigan. They got hit with ransomware a couple weeks ago. I believe they're finally coming online. They said it was undisclosed. Well, I found it. They got hit by Ransom Hub. And the information Ransom Hub put up, I mean, I shared it with you guys. This stuff's crazy. Like, the way they wrote this out on their site. To give everybody that's listening a little clip of what's going on, they waited a week for the tribe to engage Ransom Hub following an incident on February 9th. So they actually were hit on February 9th. They didn't contact Ransom Hub until a week later, so that would have been February 16th. Then they failed to act and they have personal data of residents, customers, employees of the casinos, medical centers, and other institutions. So they haven't leaked the data yet. Supposedly it's leaked today, but it hasn't been leaked yet. And then they said they basically just cut off communication on February 18th. They call out their board of directors on this post with their email addresses and 3 insurance companies.
So, Chris, you said they failed to respond. Was this after an actual ransom event, or just when they were coming out and saying that they had their data?
It's got to be a ransom event. They were down. I think they're just coming back.
They were down. Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's just wild because it's like you don't see this very often on these sites where they actually go to this length to like call them out. So I'm kind of scared of what's getting released here. I may or may not have gambled at one of their casinos before.
Well,
Full disclosure.
actually, when you sent that over to me, I looked at it. I was like, wait a minute, was that one of the casinos that we stayed at in Arizona? And I'm like, oh no, it's in Michigan. Like,
Yeah, no, this is a Michigan thing, and if my information is exposed in this, I can't remember if I have allegedly I can't remember if I have a card there. We'll go allegedly here.
Allegedly, I can't remember. Are you arguing with yourself?
Yeah. So I already got a breach notification when Caesars got hacked. I got a breach notification because of the MGM hack, and I might just get a breach notification because of this. We'll see.
So what I'm learning is I'm ahead of the game by not gambling. I have no breach notifications for them.
Well, let's look at the bright side, Chris. You probably have credit monitoring for life by now.
Yeah, I wish they could stack. They don't. Newsflash, everybody. They don't.
Yeah.
So I want to extend on that. So while they're trying to recover, while they're trying to do that, and they're going to have all these people's information leaked out there, and this is happening all the time. But I think it's kind of time to talk about TTPs. So that's tactics, techniques, and procedures. And basically, it's just a structured method for the way criminals execute their attacks.
So it's the criminals' techniques.
Yes.
Okay.
How do they attack you? And when we talk about, there's three main things to really talk about. They're trying to identify, we identify attack patterns before they can cause damage. We can improve threat detection by monitoring for those known techniques, and then we can strengthen our cybersecurity defenses against evolving threats. Right. So if we know what the TTPs are, we can kind of prepare for them. So for tactics, that's like the high level objectives of the attacker. So gaining access, stealing data, disrupting operations, things like that. The technique would be the methods they use to achieve those objectives. So maybe phishing, remote desktop being exploited, on the internet, maybe some vulnerability like Fortinet VPN, or Palo Alto has a major firewall thing too, right? And then the procedures. So the specific steps taken to execute an attack. So they might be sending fake invoices with malware, using stolen credentials, that stuff. So what I wanted to do is I put together a list here for kind of like the common TTPs for 2024, 2025. Seems like a fun list. Do you want to guess how? So let's go with the tactic initial access. So how do they get in? What is one of the most common techniques they use?
Phishing.
Damn, dude,
Email.
you're supposed to be that good. Yeah, you're not supposed to be that good. And to make so the tactic is initial access. The technique is phishing. For the procedure, what do you think they're using right now to make sure that phishing email gets through?
I have a guess, but it's complicated.
Go for it.
I know some are abusing the Microsoft support system to send emails that look like they're from Microsoft and aren't. Is it that, or are we
Teams.
something?
That is good too. I was gonna say AI.
Okay.
Phishing emails.
Oh,
But
yeah.
AI generated emails.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's a good one though too. I like that one. PayPal's having that problem too right now, where they're exploiting PayPal to be able to send PayPal stuff to
Mhm.
people and get them.
Because we're actually coming from PayPal.com or Microsoft.com legitimately, so it looks valid.
We're
Yeah.
also seeing stuff embedded in e-signature apps.
Mhm.
Sending out documents that have links in them to go someplace else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a DocuSign, which
So-
is legitimate until you click the link that's inside the DocuSign.
DocuSign's great. So that's the example of that. There's more that we can go over, like different tactics. Like there's persistence, there's execution. So persistence is just trying to make sure that they stay connected. Discovery,
And
lateral
actually-
movement, stuff like that.
And persistence is what we saw after the latest breach we looked at. It was the first thing they did, even before they exfiltrated the data. They set up persistence.
Mhm.
Well, you want to, right? Because what if somebody reboots a computer, the computer crashes or whatever like that, and you gain access
Yep.
to it? You want
They
to
want to
make sure it goes
stay in their
regularly.
foothold.
Oh, actually, in this case, it was cloud persistence.
Let me give you some stats on that too. Hold on. I was not as prepared as I normally am for this. So let me find this. I was reading something yesterday where they put out a report and they're hitting victims with ransomware 17 hours after intrusion on average. That's it.
Okay.
17 hours. So they gain access, they gain that initial access, and within 17 hours, they've done everything that they can to move laterally, discover everything in the environment, probably exfiltrate data, and hit you with ransomware in 17 hours.
You know, that just goes to show that these guys are really organized and they have a playbook. They know what they're
Yep.
looking for, and they go for it. Like they won't. It's crazy.
Some are as quick as 4 to 6 hours. So it probably just depends on how big the organization is. So
Yeah.
lateral.
We saw 100,000, not 100,000, but 11,000 emails exfiltrated in 10 hours with persistent setup. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
From the initial click.
That's pretty crazy.
Significant.
What's this other one? There's one more I wanted to share. They're achieving network intrusions in just under 4.5 hours. So the only way they're doing that is if there's a known vulnerability, maybe on your firewall or something like that. But they're gaining access within 4.5. They're gaining access within 4.5 hours.
And Sonic Wall are getting slammed right now with all kinds of vulnerabilities.
So they're getting access within 4.5 hours. Sometimes they're hitting lateral movement, which is kind of far down the attack chain. It's a little bit down the attack chain in 27 minutes, and you're getting hit with ransomware between 4 and 17 hours. Like the whole idea of dwell time on some of these attacks is just gone.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying to think about. So if you're a small organization and you get hit with something like this, like they're in and out. They're stealing as much data as they can. They're out and hitting you with ransom in like very quick time. So now for the amount of data they took from the Sioux tribe is 119 gigabytes. That probably didn't take them too long. I'm assuming they probably have pretty good internet fiber up there actually. So I'm assuming it probably didn't take that long to do the attack. But let's talk about ransomware for a second. So they're pretty big ransom operator, ransomware as a service. Phishing techniques are the things that they usually use for that initial access. So their tactic is initial access. Phishing is their technique, just like we talked about. A lot of times they use spear phishing as well. And then they love 0-day exploits. So they love those firewalls, those Palo Altos, those Fortinets, those Sophos had one too, Sonic walls, everything like that. If there's a vulnerability on the internet that can gain them access, they love that stuff. Then they live off common tools that are in your environment to do that. So it's something that we could dive deeper into this, and I think maybe a report at some point that we just kind of share out there just kind of shows like what it is, makes it a little bit probably more tangible for people listening. Just understand that if you as a business leader are working with somebody and they understand how the tactic, the techniques, and the procedures that are being used, how that gives you an advantage to protect your organization, to reduce your risk. That's the thing to really keep in mind. Is the more you look at that and the more you protect against that, and then these things change all the time, so you got to stay on top of that. You want to make sure you stay on top of that and are changing with the times as well. So
things have changed.
Yeah,
every day.
Bob, what kind of event are you at? I should have asked that earlier.
I'm actually at a cyber event in White Plains. So I'm going over some new risks. CISA was supposed to present today, and it's pretty incredible stuff out there.
Yeah.
And there was actually one of the speakers was doing a board presentation, and the board got so upset they escorted him out.
Whoa! What?
The guy did a board presentation, and it was a typical. It's a lot of times you might be presenting to a board because they have to have an annual a quarterly report, and he was doing his report, and he was an outside consultant that came in to do it, and he was doing the report, and the entire board tuned out. They're all looking at their phones, they're ignoring him, and he stopped his presentation midstream. And he had done research on who was going to be in that presentation. And he gave them personal information about several people in the room. And it got the board upset, and they actually shut him down and had him escorted out of the building. It was all public information that this guy found about the people that were in there and their children.
Listen, I've maybe handed someone their password in an envelope, a sealed envelope, privately to show them this is real. But dang,
I mean, what do you think's going to happen when you do that?
I think the final example that really pushed it over the edge, because some guys go, Steve, your daughter is now dating an 18-year-old guy with a truck. She's 15.
Yeah, I think I might have needed to be escorted out at that point.
I don't recommend using that tactic.
No.
Or that technique,
Powerful,
or the procedure.
The procedure.
But it did demonstrate that there was risk and vulnerability everywhere, and no one's taking it seriously.
Well, they're gonna be thinking about it now, but dang.
I mean,
he's getting invited back.
I mean, he made an impression. He probably didn't get paid, but he made an impression.
Actually, he talked to the CISO that brought him in, and the CISO thanked him because it did open their eyes, and it opened up budget. So
wow.
I heard a good saying, and I think this is a good way to close. I heard a CISO talk once, a CISO at a major organization, and he said this: "I'm going to get the budget that I need one way or another. So I'm going to get the budget because I've done a good job to describe this to the board. They're going to give me the budget, or we're going to be hit with a massive attack, and I'm still going to get my budget."
There you go.
So think about that. There is a budget. You will get it. It just depends on what side of boom do you want to be. Do you want to be on the left side? Or do you want to be on the right side? So do you want to be pre-attack? Or you want to be post-attack? You're going to get the budget.
Getting it up front's always better, but
probably cheaper.
Fallout, something nobody wants to deal with.
Fallout
hey, enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you for joining us. We were wondering if you're gonna act like you were kidnapped. We're gonna make fun of you being kidnapped.
I had all kinds of
I couldn't take that risk.
There you go.
Since I don't think I have kidnap insurance.
And mine's really low. Although my insurance is up for renewal, so maybe I got to check. Maybe I can get that up to like
I forget what mine is.
or something.
It's not enough.
So, yeah, it was like 50 before.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
We'll talk to you next week.
Get back into my
All right,
event.